The Memphis heat was suffocating on that August evening in 1977. The air was thick with the kind of humidity that makes you feel like you're swimming through a warm, damp blanket. But inside Graceland, the grand mansion where Elvis Presley lived, the atmosphere was even more oppressive. The house was eerily quiet, a stark contrast to the chaos that usually filled its halls. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, was found dead in his bathroom that day. The news spread like wildfire, and within hours, thousands of fans gathered outside Graceland, their faces etched with shock and grief. They couldn't believe it. The man who had once electrified the world with his music, his charisma, and his rebellious spirit was gone. Elvis was more than just a musician. He was a cultural phenomenon, a symbol of the American dream, and a bridge between different worlds. He grew up poor in Tupelo, Mississippi, but he had a voice that could make the world listen. His music was a melting pot of blues, country, and gospel, a reflection of the diverse influences that shaped his life. He took those sounds and transformed them into something new, something that captivated the hearts of millions. In the 1950s, when the world was still reeling from the scars of World War II, Elvis burst onto the scene like a force of nature. His performances were wild, his moves were provocative, and his music was explosive. He wasn't just singing, he was living, breathing, and feeling every note. He was the embodiment of the new, the young, and the free. But Elvis was more than just a pretty face with a golden voice. He was a pioneer, a trailblazer who challenged the status quo. In a time when racial tensions were high and segregation was the norm, Elvis defied the boundaries. He borrowed from black artists, brought their music to the mainstream, and helped break down the barriers that had kept so many apart. His music was a unifying force, a call to come together and celebrate the richness of American culture. Elvis's impact went beyond the charts. He influenced generations of musicians, from the Rolling Stones to Bruce Springsteen, from Nirvana to Eminem. He showed them that music could be more than just entertainment. It could be a powerful tool for change. He inspired them to be bold, to be fearless, and to never stop pushing the boundaries. But the road to fame was not without its toll. The pressure, the constant scrutiny, and the relentless demands of stardom took a heavy toll on Elvis. He struggled with addiction, weight gain, and the loss of his loved ones. The man who once seemed invincible was now a shadow of his former self. On that fateful day in August, the world lost a legend, but the legacy of Elvis Presley lived on. His music, his spirit, and his influence continued to resonate through the decades. He may have been gone, but he was far from forgotten. The fans who gathered outside Graceland that day knew it. They knew that Elvis had left an indelible mark on the world, a mark that would never fade. As the night fell, the crowd outside Graceland began to sing. They sang the songs that Elvis had made famous, the songs that had brought them together, the songs that had touched their souls. The air was filled with the sounds of Love Me Tender, Heartbreak Hotel, and Can't Help Falling in Love. It was a fitting tribute to a man who had given so much to the world. Elvis Presley may have died, but his music, his spirit, and his legacy lived on. And in that moment, as the night wrapped around Graceland, the fans knew that they were not just mourning a man, they were celebrating a legend. Elvis Presley's journey from a small-town boy to a global icon is as fascinating as it is complex. His rise to stardom and the cultural impact he made are intertwined with the social and political changes of the 1950s and 1960s. Let's dive into the middle of his story, when he was at the height of his fame and facing new challenges. Elvis Presley wasn't just a singer, he was a cultural phenomenon. In the 1950s, the concept of celebrity was changing. People were becoming more interested in the personal lives of their favorite stars, and Elvis was no exception. His appeal was not just in his music, but in his image and the way he connected with his fans. When Elvis joined the Army in 1958, it was a big moment for his fans. Many worried that military service would change him. However, Elvis handled it with grace. He was stationed in Germany, where he met Priscilla Beaulieu, who would later become his wife. During his time in the military, Elvis continued to record and maintain his image, even though he was away from the limelight. Upon his return to the United States in 1960, Elvis was greeted as a hero. His fans were overjoyed to see him back, and he quickly returned to the top of the charts, However, the music industry was changing. Rock and roll was evolving, and new artists were emerging. Elvis's manager, Colonel Tom Parker, was determined to keep Elvis relevant. He focused on movies and live performances, but this strategy had its critics. In the early 1960s, Elvis became a movie star. He appeared in films like Blue Hawaii and Jailhouse Rock, which were popular but often criticized for being formulaic. Colonel Parker's strategy was to keep Elvis in the spotlight, even if it meant making movies that didn't always challenge him as an artist. This approach led to a decline in the quality of Elvis's music and performances. Despite this, Elvis's fan base remained strong. His fans were loyal and passionate, and they supported him through thick and thin. Priscilla was a constant presence in his life, and their relationship added a new dimension to his public image. However, the pressure of fame and the demands of his career took a toll on Elvis. He began to rely on prescription drugs to cope with the stress. The 1960s were a time of great change in America. The Beatles and other British bands were rising to fame, and the music industry was becoming more diverse. Elvis faced competition from these new artists, but he still had a strong following. He continued to perform and record, but his sound was changing. He started to incorporate more country and gospel influences, which appealed to a different audience. Elvis's live performances in the late 1960s were some of his best. He returned to his roots, performing in Las Vegas and other venues. His energy and passion on stage were unmatched. The Elvis, the '68 Comeback Special, is a classic example of his ability to captivate an audience. It was a powerful moment that showed Elvis was still a force to be reckoned with. However, Elvis's personal life was becoming more complicated. His marriage to Priscilla was strained, and he was dealing with health issues. Despite these challenges, he continued to work, driven by his love for music and his desire to please his fans. By the 1970s, Elvis was a living legend. His concerts were legendary, and he continued to release music. However, the toll of fame and the lifestyle he led began to show. He was overweight, and his health was deteriorating. His performances were still powerful, but his personal life was in disarray. Elvis's relationship with Priscilla ended in divorce in 1973. He struggled with loneliness and the pressures of fame. His fans remained loyal, and his concerts were always sold out. However, the end was near. On August 16, 1977, Elvis Presley was found dead at his home, Graceland, in Memphis, Tennessee. His death was a shock to the world, and his fans mourned the loss of a true icon. Elvis's legacy continued to grow after his death. His fans kept his memory alive, and his music remained popular. Graceland became a pilgrimage site for his fans, and his influence on music and culture continued to be felt. Elvis Presley's story is a testament to the power of music and the impact of a cultural icon. His life was a roller coaster of fame, success, and personal struggles, but his legacy as the king of rock and roll is timeless. Elvis Presley's journey from a young man in Tupelo to a global icon is a story of transformation and impact. His early life was marked by the struggles of the Great Depression, which shaped his character and fueled his drive to succeed. Growing up in a poor family, Elvis learned the value of hard work and the importance of music from an early age. His mother, Gladys, played a significant role in nurturing his musical interests, often encouraging him to sing and play the guitar. When Elvis moved to Memphis with his family, he was exposed to a diverse range of musical influences. The city's vibrant music scene, with its mix of blues, gospel, and country, provided a rich environment for him to explore and develop his unique sound. He began performing at local venues and caught the attention of Sam Phillips, the owner of Sun Records. Phillips saw something special in Elvis and gave him the opportunity to record his first singles, including That's All Right and Blue Moon of Kentucky. These early recordings helped launch Elvis's career and set the stage for his rise to fame. Elvis's breakthrough came with the release of Heartbreak Hotel in 1956. The song's raw energy and emotional intensity resonated with a wide audience, and it quickly became a hit. This success led to a series of appearances on national television, including The Ed Sullivan Show, which further cemented his status as a cultural phenomenon. His electrifying performances, characterized by his dynamic stage presence and provocative dance moves, captivated audiences and sparked controversy. Many adults saw Elvis as a threat to traditional values, while young people embraced him as a symbol of rebellion and freedom. Elvis's influence extended beyond music. He became a cultural icon, representing the spirit of the 1950s and early 1960s. His movies such as Love Me Tender and Jailhouse Rock showcased his charisma and helped broaden his appeal. However, his film career also had its downsides, as many of his later movies were criticized for being formulaic and lacking in artistic merit. Despite this, Elvis continued to be a beloved figure, and his music remained popular. Throughout his career, Elvis faced numerous challenges, including personal and professional setbacks. His relationship with Colonel Tom Parker, his manager, was complex and often contentious. Parker played a crucial role in Elvis's success, but he was also criticized for his controlling nature and financial mismanagement. Elvis's marriage to Priscilla Bowl added another dimension to his life, bringing both joy and strain. The birth of their daughter, Lisa Marie, was a highlight, but the pressures of fame and personal issues eventually led to their divorce. Elvis's later years were marked by a decline in his health and a shift in his musical style. He continued to perform, but his live shows were often marred by his struggle with drug addiction. Despite these challenges, Elvis remained a beloved figure, and his concerts at the International Hotel in Las Vegas were some of the most memorable of his career. His final years were a bittersweet period, filled with both triumphs and tragedies. Elvis Presley's legacy is profound. He not only revolutionized the music industry, but also played a significant role in shaping the cultural landscape of the 20th century. His influence can be seen in the music of countless artists who followed in his footsteps, and his image continues to captivate new generations. Elvis's life and career are a testament to the power of music and the enduring impact of a true icon. Elvis Presley's life was a roller coaster of fame, music, and change. He started as a shy young man from Tupelo, Mississippi, and became the king of rock and roll. His music and performances broke barriers, bringing together different genres and audiences in a way that no one had done before. Elvis's early career was marked by hits like Heartbreak Hotel, Hound Dog, and Jailhouse Rock. His energetic performances and rebellious style captured the hearts of young people and made him a cultural icon, but his success also brought challenges. He faced criticism from older generations and had to navigate the complex world of fame and the entertainment industry. In the 1960s, Elvis's career shifted as he focused more on making movies. While he starred in a series of films, his music took a backseat. Despite this, he continued to influence the music scene, and his performances, like the legendary 1968 comeback special, showed that he was still a powerful force in entertainment. Elvis's personal life was just as tumultuous as his career. He married Priscilla Bowl in 1967, and they had a daughter, Lisa Marie. However, their relationship was strained by his demanding schedule and the pressures of fame. In 1973, they divorced. In the 1970s, Elvis's health began to decline. He struggled with weight issues and relied on prescription drugs, which took a toll on his body. Despite these challenges, he continued to perform and connect with his fans. His last performance was in Indianapolis on June 26, 1977. On August 16, 1977, Elvis Presley died at his home, Graceland, in Memphis, Tennessee. He was only 42 years old. His death shocked the world, and millions of fans mourned the loss of a true legend. Elvis's legacy lives on through his music, which continues to inspire new generations of artists and fans. His impact on popular culture is undeniable, and he remains one of the most influential figures in the history of music. Even decades after his passing, Elvis Presley is still the king, and his story continues to captivate people around the world.